Okay, while I'm waiting for the EICO capacitor bridge to come in, I'm going to attempt to fix this switch here. I looked at the PDF file again on my computer, and the manual for this, the schematic is sideways. There is no option to rotate the print, in other words the display. So I got to take the laptop and I got to turn it on its side, and so I can read the schematic. Otherwise I'm doing this with my head. I spent a lot of time trying to figure it out. There is no option for rotating. You can do that in an image program, but you cannot do it in a PDF reader. Anyways, so I looked at the schematic, and it's not really that complicated, but it's very hard to read the values because the print is not very clear. But anyways, we're gonna cut these off. I'm not gonna worry about desoldering. I'm gonna cut these wires and then as short as I can, close to the terminal, and see if I can fix this with some Gorilla epoxy. It's worth a try. So I'm going to take all this off camera, but I'm going to mark the wires and mark out a little diagram first before I do that, and remove these wires, and I got to remove this capacitor here. And we'll do that and we'll get back in a minute. Alright, I got this switch, the broken part out. Capacitor goes here, and the other two wires go here, and the red wire I clipped off that goes to this main part of the switch. So I'm going to remove this here, and I'm going to try to glue these pieces back together again. And if there isn't any pieces missing on the phenolic wafer, I might be able to glue it together. It's worth a try. If not, I'll just fix it for audio only. I'm not going to worry about the noise test and all that stuff. Boy, that's all rusted in there. Big time. I'm going to have to get a socket wrench or something and put it in there. Nothing I have here in the electronic shop will fit it, so I'm going to go into the big shed and get a socket and see if I can get that off. Alright, I got it off. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix it, but we'll give it a try. I'm going to do that off camera because I'd have to set my camera up on. You're not going to be able to see close-ups with this camera anyways. But we're going to try to... If this is all there is, and there's no missing pieces, I may be okay. If not, I'll just hardwire it and just stick this part in just to hold the knob on. So let's go from one step at a time here, and then we'll come back in a minute. I want to check this out. There's no loose pieces. When I pull this out, there's no loose pieces of phenolic wafer in the bottom of the cabinet. So I assume everything's here, unless it broke years ago. All I know is when I pulled it out of the case, it was snapped in half. So let's see what I can do with it. I don't know if you can see through this magnifying glass or not, but I put the pieces together, but this here just barely catches on the contact. I got the pieces to fit. This is the way it looks. There's nothing else on here. That's just the way the switch is made. So I can put a little epoxy on each end of this, but I doubt it'll hold. I doubt very highly it'll hold. But I'm going to give it a try. Hopefully this is in focus. I had to use some solid insulated wire. I don't like doing that, but I have to hold these two pieces together. The crack is right between these two terminals here, and the other crack is right here where my thumb is moving here. And I can't put epoxy here because this moves. So I have to put epoxy on this side. But it's only gonna, it's a very tiny area. I doubt this will hold. And of course this is going to have to set overnight to be strong. So I'm going to mix up some epoxy. So this wire here is going to have to stay in. This is some of the insulated wire that I used. It's tarnished on the inside. When you strip it, it's real old, and it's got insulation on it, so I'm hoping that that's not going to short out, especially when I start soldering to this. But I can't take this off after I put the glue on, because the glue is going to be bonded to this. I got nothing to lose. If this don't work, I'll just take and put a I'll hardwire it and just stick this in to hold the knob. I'm not going to get too fussy. The only reason I'm working on this now is because I don't have anything else in the shop here to work on. The 950 bridge comes in probably, I think the 12th or something like that it comes in, so it'll be probably Monday. Alright, I'm going to mix up some epoxy here. This stuff don't come out evenly. One comes out more than the other, so it's very hard to get it just right. And see, one side comes out more than the other. Well, can't see anything. Now, you never get it even because it don't come out even. Now you gotta mix this for 5 minutes. We're not gonna do that on camera, but that's what they're saying to do.
And I gotta apply this with something. I had a little piece of 14 gauge wire, I lost it. That was gonna be my applying stick. I can't find it, so I gotta use this big clumsy thing or use an 8-inch screwdriver, which is gonna screw it up if it hardens up on the tip. The screwdriver's no good. I'm always losing something. Always putting something down and can't find it. And the shop is getting really crowded here. This shed is really too small for a workshop. Alright, we're gonna come back on this in a little bit here. I'm getting it all over my hands.
And I don't have my magnifier. I gotta put it on this side. Clumsy thing. It's awful. You just have to just drop it in there and just hope that it all binds it, mends it. I can't take the pieces apart and put it in, because I'll never line it up right, and I have to have that wire in there to hold it together. But it's something that is worth trying. I don't even know if that's let's see if I can see that. Got a big chunk of it there. If I can, I don't want to mess this brush up. It's my only acid brush I got. Let's see if I can do this side without getting into the contacts. I don't know. I think I better leave this side alone. My eyes are no damn good for this kind of work. Now there's another area which I got to get the magnifying glass out again to see. It is right here. Right down here. This is on the back side where it mounts to this part don't move. With this stuff here, you have to let it dry several days, really, because it gets stronger as it sets. I don't want to put any on this side because this side's got to move. Let me just, I'm going to mix up more if I need to. And yeah, there's a big space in there. There's a big space in there. I need to get some in there. Down on this side. But I need something smaller than this thing here, so we'll set this here and shut this off for a minute. Alright. I got another piece of plastic, an old phone jack I had used to mix some stuff on before. You see, this is real hard now, because that was last week. So the stuff gets hard, but it takes a while. So we're going to mix up some more. Now this time I got my piece of wire here. This is a lot easier to apply the stuff in there. So we're going to mix some more up here. Alright. Never comes out even, like I said, but alright. Getting on my hands here. You shouldn't need very much. I'm just going to hit the other side of that switch, and I'm going to put my Harbor Freight head magnifier on. They say to mix this for about 5 minutes, so we're going to shut the camera off for now. Stuck to the bench. Got to be very careful. This is very important. The splitters right between here, and I can see the thing moved on me here. Even though I got the wire in there, it moved. Now, I gotta try to get the stuff in there. Without messing up the contacts. Like I say, if it don't work, we'll just hardwire it. Okay, she's bonded right across. It's kind of an ugly mess. This is where it's stuck to the bench. It still moved a little bit though. Let me see something here. See if I can get to the back side of this without messing it up. Where am I? There I am. Actually, the backside don't look too bad. Did a little better job than I thought. See if I can get just a wee bit more down in there. Okay. All right. Now, I can set this thing down. I can set this thing down now. Maybe I can see. Take an inspection here and see if it's not touching the bench. We don't want it sticking to the bench here. I think we're okay. Alright, hang on a minute. We'll come back in a little bit. Well, I'm in the magnifying glass, but I don't know how well you can see it. But, because I don't have my reading glasses on, so I'm blind here. This contact here is just barely touching that. I had that down in there, but this thing must have moved up. This wafer here that was broken must have moved up, so I doubt this switch is going to work. But it's all glued up. Best I can do. We're going to let it sit. We'll try it out. We'll put it on the ohm meter and see. If it don't work, we'll just hardwire it in and be done with it. I'm not going to fart around with this because this is, like I say, this is not a project that I am concerned with right now. All right, so I'm going to let that set up on the shelf up here. Let it dry. And the way the wiper, I don't know if you could see that. I was running the camera through this magnifier here. And you got one wiper that's longer, that's always in contact, and then you got another contact, and those are just barely touching. They're supposed to be in more on the switch. It's hard to explain without showing you the picture and so forth, but it's just barely touching. So because the wafer, when I glued it down and put the wire in there, which is insulated, as I said, and I'm hoping it's not going to short out, it must have lifted up a little bit and pulled away. Nothing I can do about it. It looks like it's a little space there now. Best I can do, I'm not going to go crazy with this thing. It's nice and neat in here. And if I have to, you know, I don't need the noise feature. What do I need that for? I've never used it in the years I've had signal tracers. As an audio amplifier, and even as a watt meter, that might be okay, but I don't need the noise feature. Matter of fact, I'd rather not have the noise feature working on this because it puts 100 and some volts on the output jack here, and if you mistakenly have that switch in there and you put it into one of these modern equipment for whatever reasons, you've just lost a piece of equipment. So the more I think about it, as a matter of fact, that's what I did with my signal tracer I had in my old shop. I put a blocking capacitor in the noise feature when the switches switched over, because I got zapped on that a couple of times, and that'll block the DC from coming out the jack when you got it set for noise, which I would never have it set for noise. But if it gets mistakenly turned, I'll have a blocking capacitor in there to keep the DC out of the jack. Now I'm going to put in here a BNC here, and I might have to ream that out. I'm not sure. Not a BNC here, BNC here rather. The switch goes here. And then leave the ground here. I might even put a binding post here for a ground. And a BNC here and a BNC here. I was looking at the one Mr. Carlson's lab was doing. It was a Heath kit. A Heath kit I think is made a little better. He did a nice job on his. But he's using the noise feature. I don't want to use that because that puts out a DC voltage which could damage equipment if you mistakenly connect it to pieces of equipment, especially the solid state. You'll damage it, so we'll probably eliminate that. So anyways, I did want to show you that, and I will give you an update on this in a future video. This is going to have to dry for, I want this to dry for at least 24, 48 hours. And then I can play around with it and turn it. But what I'm going to do is I'll mount it in. And then run my ohm checks on it. And then hook up the wires. So I got the hardware over here. And I found my mixing stick after I'm all done with it. That's the way it goes. So that's it, folks, for now. Talk to you later. Have a good day.